LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you know it. So yeah, if you pay real close attention, if you're on the video side right away, I have some giant multicolored balls floating in the air behind me. Yeah, that's exactly what is going on, just in case if you're wondering. So let's see on how we're going to start this one, because it is going to be much different. Well, is it really going to be much different? This is episode 600. Yeah, 600. How the hell did we pull this off? Between you and I getting all the way to 600. Would have never thought that this was going to happen. Anyways, today is Friday, August the 5th of 2022, day 217th of the year. Only 148 days left to go. Yep, that's exactly what is left. 148. Yes, we are 148. That is exactly what is happening. Anyways, we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. And then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place that we do stuff at.
Freeform radio never sounded this great. Or has it? Radio Big.
So there you go. That's what's going on right there. So let's talk real quick. As you are aware, if you have hung out here before, if you want to interact with the show, it's telling you right there on the screener. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. The three options will show up right there for that. It will allow you to do whatever you want to do inside of there, where you can do the thing where you get to send a video, send an audio message, or do, the text messaging of stuff. That is the easiest way to do it. I have to tell you that the learning curve with some of this has probably been difficult, and I have not eased the portion because I don't always answer, which is cool. I mean, I get it. But people are so accustomed to the phone thing where they just call opposed to, going to a website. I get it. Things do happen from time to time. So with that being said, I guess it's time for us to start talking right away about what was trending inside of this world. So let's start talking right away. The big one that you probably saw circulating yesterday was Brittany Grenier. Free BG landed in Twitter's top 10 trends on Thursday about the WNBA star being sentenced to 9 years. Twitter user sent birthday wishes to former President Barack Obama yesterday. Hashtag Super Freaky Girl was trending on Thursday after reports that Nicki Minaj's new single Super Freaky Girl will be released on August the 12th. And then public health emergencies were trending as monkeypox was declared a public health emergency as things were going on and about yesterday. So, we're starting to see some things moving and grooving right there. So probably we need to start talking about that right away as we are doing some things in, around, and about. So there you go. So if you are not familiar with what we do here, 600 episodes in, we have transitioned quite a bit from being a rant show mostly to then all of a sudden turning into a new show that talks a lot about safety, talks about some main story stuff, puts some torture, and makes fun of people all at the same time. I guess it's kind of the way that it works. So with that being said, let me tell you how this goes. We bring in some professional broadcasters to talk about what the hell's going on inside of the world of the news. That way you can actually stay informed. And then we kind of go from there. And then I come back. I'll talk a little bit about what the hell's going on. And then we'll bow it up and call it. Yeah, we'll call it. That's exactly what happens. So with that being said, let's not waste any more time and get you started right away about what the hell is going on inside of the world of the news as we're 6 minutes past the top of the hour.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Michael Kastner. The U.S. says it will pursue Russia's offer to discuss a prisoner swap for Brittany Griner. Secretary of State Antony Blinken made that vow today at a foreign ministers meeting in Cambodia. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov is also at the meeting, and he said earlier in the day that Russia is ready to discuss a trade deal for Griner through the proper diplomatic channels. The WNBA star was sentenced to 9 years in a Russian prison yesterday for having a small amount of cannabis oil in her luggage at a Moscow airport. Internet talk show host Alex Jones will have to pay out over $4 million in compensatory damages over false claims that the 2012 Sandy Hook school shooting was a hoax. Lawyer Mark Bankston, who's representing Sandy Hook parents Neil Heslin and Scarlett Lewis, says it's a win for his clients.
I think for both Mr. Jones and his lawyer, today has been a horrible day. For my clients, it is the light at the end of the tunnel.
A civil jury reached the verdict in Texas. Punitive damages are also possible. That hearing is today. Senator Kyrsten Sinema is agreeing to a compromise on a Democratic economic bill. The Arizona Democrat agreed to move forward with her vote on the Inflation Reduction Act after discussions with both sides of the aisle, all but ensuring its passage in the Senate. In a statement released online, Sinema wrote that several changes were made to the bill before she agreed to vote for it, including removal of the interest tax provision and boosting clean energy in the Senate's budget. Multiple people are injured, including 2 police officers, after a car plowed through a parade in New Mexico. A video captured by witness Keisha Joe shows spectators fleeing the scene as they realized what was happening. It happened in the town of Gallup, about 140 miles west of Albuquerque, during the Intertribal Ceremonial Centennial Celebration Parade. Officials say the driver and a passenger from the SUV are in custody. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Julia Chapman. Japan and other G7 nations have expressed concern over China's military actions around Taiwan. India's central bank has raised interest rates by 50 basis points, its third rate hike this year. And a Texas jury has ordered prominent conspiracy theorist Alex Jones to pay more than $4 million to the parents of a child killed in a school shooting.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
California's governor is calling on Hollywood to pull its productions out of Georgia. Trey Thomas explains.
Democrat Gavin Newsom sent out a tweet this week challenging the film industry to protect workers or continue to support states with anti-abortion rules. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp just announced that the state pulled in over $4 billion in revenue from the film industry last fiscal year. Newsom said California will be extending tax credits. I'm Trey Thomas.
Severe storms moved through the Baltimore area Thursday, leading to flooding, downed trees, and power outages in Baltimore. Mayor Brandon Scott says parts of the city saw 4 inches of rain and more than 60 trees had fallen. These city residents say the storms brought down large trees in their neighborhood.
I had a rumble, and it's like an earthquake rumble. I heard something crack. The rain starts to pick up.
I jumped on the floor. Next thing I knew, I heard my neighbor across the street screaming.
The mayor says the Department of Recreation and Parks Forestry Division will bring in extra crews to help clear debris. Governor Larry Hogan says the state is coordinating with local jurisdictions to deal with the aftermath of the storms. A new poll looks at how Americans feel about alcohol. Rory O'Neill reports.
Most Americans think drinking alcohol is bad for society and for individual drinkers, too. 3 in 4 telling Gallup that alcohol has a negative effect on society, though most say the effect is somewhat, not very negative. Still, 2 out of 3 say they will raise a glass from time to time. Gallup has been asking about alcohol consumption since the 1930s and finds the percentage of Americans who do drink hasn't changed much over the years.
A statue honoring late Braves legend Hank Aaron has a new home in his old neighborhood. A ceremony was held yesterday to unveil the bronze bust at Adams Park in southwest Atlanta. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Attention business owners. Are you receiving all the employee tax credits you have coming to you? A tax refund program provided for by the CARES Act of 2020 could be worth thousands. Employee retention tax credits, or ERTCs, are a fully refundable payroll tax. You may be eligible for up to $26,000 per employee per quarter. At Lifetime Advisors, we have a team of experts dedicated to the ERTC program. We work with businesses of all sizes, both big and small, to claim the money that they're entitled to. It's your money, and we can help you get it. Call Lifetime Advisors today at 1-877-851-0005. We'll send you a short questionnaire to see if you qualify. There is no obligation, but this is a limited time program. Don't miss out. Call 1-877-851-0005. That's 1-877-851-0005 to get the ERTC money you have coming to you. Lifetime Advisors.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things is mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with Home Title Lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
You are listening to a renowned safety expert, Dr. Jay Allen, on Safety FM. Changing safety cultures, one broadcast and one podcast at a time. Join the fun on social media and find us on Facebook at Safety FM.
Okay, there you go. 16 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely 600 Friday. Oh, sorry, no, I'm meaning episode 600, not that it's a 600 Friday, because we surpassed that many moons ago. That is for sure. So let's start getting in to the hit list because I think that that's going to be the important portion that we need to talk about right away. So Punky, listen to this. Punky. Can't even talk anymore. It's so fantastic. Anyways, monkeypox is now a federal public health emergency. So far, 6,600 cases have been confirmed in the U.S. The emergency designation expanded federal powers to spend money and regulate how states report new cases. So what do you think here? What do you think we're going to be seeing? Because that's going to be an interesting one. I think people are going to have some questions on how we're going to go about and talk about this. The questions will always be pretty interesting in regards on how this comes about. So what are you thinking as you're hearing this? Because we've been talking about it just in case. I mean, I don't know. It will be interesting, especially because New York will probably be the one that they'll talk about the most coming right off the bat. Anyway, so let's continue talking. Brittany Grenier has been sentenced to 9 years in prison in Russia for carrying marijuana vape cartridges into the country. She also faces 1 million ruble fine, which is just about over 16,000 US. She'll likely continue to be low value bargaining chip for Russia in the coming weeks. So hold on. Low value bargaining chip for Russia in a few weeks. So low value. So I thought that they were trying to exchange prisoners for like an arms dealer here from the U.S. that's a Russian. And move them over. Or am I getting the info wrong? I don't think I'm getting the info wrong because for some reason I took a deep dive into this yesterday. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. Oh, yeah, because I had a late class last night, so I had time to look at some stuff before I got to the late class. That's why I was looking into it. Yeah, that's what happened. Anyways, banging. Yeah, restaurants. Klombarit Restaurant Brands International had a booming second quarter for earnings. The company that owns Burger King and Tim Hortons, whose locations outside of the United States perform well. Back home, though, sales of Burger King's and its corporate cousin Popeyes were flat. I didn't know that Popeyes belonged to Burger King. This is starting to explain a lot of things now. Now I'm knowing. So anyways, tanking was Walmart is laying off 200 corporate employees. How the hell do they have 200 corporate employees? Restructures amid inflammatory prices squeeze and decreasing recession demand. So there you go. In total, Walmart employs 1.7 million people in the U.S., including both corporate employees and store staff. So it's just a tiny fraction of its workforce. So there you go, some stuff to think about as we are talking. Anyways, Waning, the former head of Toys R Us, said this week that he anticipates a dissemination of small businesses, retailers after this year's holiday shopping season. Most retailers earned their profit margins during the last sprint of the year, but the increase in recessionary pressure will cause low and middle class earners to scale back their buying. This spells doom for smaller shops that have already been hanging on their fingernails as a result of the pandemic. I mean, let's talk about this for a second. Because, we have to talk about this. And I know that a lot of people go out and buy stuff during the holidays and, for friends and families and all this. But why is it that come the beginning of December, people are in shock that, the holiday season is among us? I mean, every year it's the same time. If you start planning right around probably July, it might be a good idea. I mean, I'm just throwing that out there as an idea. Just something to think about. Anyways, worth remembering and never ever forgetting, in the early days of the pandemic and far too long after the government, knew some stuff, thousands of small businesses were forced to remain closed while the big companies were able to stay open because of certain protocols and agreements. And some people were deemed that they were a necessity for life to continue to go on. So there you go. Anyway, so much for guard dogs. Bandit, the Calico cat of Tupelo, Mississippi, stopped a home break-in and maybe even saved her homeowner's life. The owner, 68-year-old Fred Everett, says that between 2:30 and 3 o'clock a.m. on July the 25th, he heard Bandit meowing loudly from the kitchen. Then he skewered into the bedroom and clawed Everett's arm and tried pawing the comforter off of him. Everett says that then he got up out of bed to investigate and saw two men trying to break through the back door, one carrying a crowbar and the other had a gun. He went for his own gun, but then the criminals ran off. So there you go. We're talking guns is what it sounds like. So thanks for the cat giving the claw, if you know what I'm saying. That's for sure there.
More sarcasm with an Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about some other things, because it's always a good time as we are talking. So, speaking of cats, let's talk about this. A new video game called Stray is all the rage, where players get to control a virtual cat through its surroundings. Now players live streaming their game while others watch, which is apparently a very lucrative industry and encouraging donations to animal shelters and charities. What an interesting time there, huh? So let's think about this. You have the opportunity to play a game, so it is a simulation of you being a cat, while you get to stream the simulation of being a cat, in other words, for you to be able to ask people for money for watching you being a simulated cat as you stream it. Oh, I think my head hurts. That was too much.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Friday, August 5th, 2022. The rally on Wall Street hit another roadblock Thursday despite better than expected economic data. The data included ISM services and factory orders, which both came in better than expected. The news sent the S&P 500 up in early trading, but resistance capped the gains at the key 4150 level. If the market cannot get above this level soon, another round of selling could follow, and there is a catalyst due out on Friday. The NFP report is expected to show a slowdown in hiring that is also foreshadowed by the jobless claims data. The number of initial and total claims for unemployment continues to rise and suggests a topping in the labor markets. Topping in the labor markets is good news for inflation, but bad news for the economy, because it will undercut consumer spending growth and weigh on the outlook for economic activity and corporate earnings. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you for that one. Thank you for airing exactly what is going on inside of this lovely world, John. I appreciate it, especially when you give us the breakdown on what's going on. So let me give a little bit more info just right here. The Dow has lost 85 points on Thursday to close 32,726. The S&P 500 added 3 points to close at 4,151, while the NASDAQ added 52 points to close at 12,720. Oil prices continue to slide. West Texas Intermediate closed at $88.20. Brent crude dove to $94. So listen to this. Worth remembering, even as oil prices slide, remember that the futures markets does not have a day-to-day impact on gas prices at the pump, which is one of the main reasons gas remains high. There remains of a domestic, refining bottleneck, because energy companies aren't going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars to expand capacity while the presidents who made the campaign promise to put their industry out of business. Keep in mind of this: building refineries that comply with the environment standards is years-long process. So if you're going to be out of business in a decade, it doesn't make economic sense to build facilities out. I mean, let's just be realistic. All these problems are compounded by what advisors have said to where they should have spent money as professionals into how things go in the real world. I mean, just think about this. You can't tell people, hey, listen, you need to actually bottleneck your refineries and change things, and then, hey, your business is going to be out of business here in a couple of decades or less, and you need to lower your prices. I mean, it's just not going to be something that people do, because in how we actually do, we'll call it, quote unquote, fair trading. So, with that being said, the national average price of the gallon of gas was $4.14. Bitcoin lost about $306, still remaining at that trading spot about 22,500, which seems to be where it kind of fluctuates if you take a look at it. Anyways, there were about 4,284 flights delayed into, within, or out of the U.S. on Thursday, and 604 cancellations. The average mortgage rates in the U.S. are back under 5%, clocking in at 4.99, and this is according to Freddie Mac. Yes, the Freddie Mac people, Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae. I'm sure if you don't know what it is, you probably should look it up because it is some interesting stuff. Anyways, as we're starting to roll in closer and closer to that weekend thing, if you're not doing anything and hanging out at your home and doing the video on demand stuff, let me tell you what you got coming up. On Amazon Prime is Licorice Pizza. That is there right now. 13 Lives. On Disney Plus is Old Dogs. At HBO Max, you'll have Belfast being new there. New to Hulu is Prey, and then new to Netflix is Carter, Darlings, Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie, Skyfall, and The Informer. So there you go, all new stuff that is heading your way if you're so inclined to do so. So there you go. Anyways, let's get into some other things that are going on inside of the world of the news because we need to talk about it and all that kind of fun stuff. So listen to this real quick. There has been more shark sightings on Long Island, and Queens Beach is shut down due to bacteria. New Yorkers have been on fewer beaches to cool off at today because they have been more shark sightings on Long Island, and Queens Beach has high level of bacteria. Let's bring in some Noam Laden and let him tell you what the hell's going on here.
Swimmers at Jones Beach ordered out of the water again after more shark sightings. Beachgoers say those sharks are ruining their summer fun.
And obviously we have to go and cool down. It's 1 billion degrees out. And every time we went in the water, they're like, you guys got to get out. There's sharks in the area.
And the beach at Jacob Reese Park in Queens is closed, not due to sharks, but high levels of bacteria in the water there. So many New Yorkers trying to beat this heat say they'll find a public pool today.
This is what New York City summer is all about, going to the pool and just having fun and enjoying life with family.
Noam Laden, NBC News Radio, New York.
NBC News Radio, baby. So there you go. That's some information. Thank you, Noam Laden, for letting us know what is going on. Talking a little bit more about New York, let's talk about this. NYPD cops have arrested an 18-year-old man for the shooting death in the parking lot of a BJ Stores and at Bath Beach around 10 last night. Noam Laden has some more info.
Detectives say the teenage gunman tried to steal 19-year-old Derek Chen's backpack as the two rode in a store parking lot elevator. When Chen refused to give up that backpack, the gunman shot him in the face and shoulder. Chen was rushed to the hospital where he passed away last night. Cops say they found the gunman as he was trying to race away from the scene. Noam Laden, NBC News Radio, New York.
Okay, there you go. Some interesting stuff going on. Let's jump into the other side of the equation real quick. Let's jump into California, Simi Valley. 4 suspects are behind bars after Simi Valley police allegedly caught them red-handed stealing a catalytic converter. More from about this. Let's bring in some Daniel Martindale.
Someone called 911 early Thursday morning after hearing what sounded like a catalytic converter being cut out of a car parked in a residential neighborhood. They heard right. Responding officers found the cut-off catalytic converter, floor jacks, a saw, and more tools in the suspect's vehicle. The 4 suspects, all from Los Angeles, were arrested. I'm Daniel Martindale.
Okay, thank you, Daniel Martindale, for that one, for what is going on. So let's jump around, keeping it a little West Coast-ish to an extent. Shooting at the Mirage leaves 1 dead and 2 wounded. A man is dead and 2 are wounded and in critical condition after a shooting at the Mirage Las Vegas Strip. Daniel Martindale reports.
The shooting happened in a hotel room at about 8:30 Thursday night. Las Vegas Metro Police say there was an altercation and one person shot all 3 victims before leaving the room. The suspect is still on the loose. Police say all 4 people involved knew each other. I'm Daniel Martindale.
Okay, thank you, Daniel Martindale, for that one. With that being said, let's talk a little bit more about something we've already discussed, but I think that it has some information that we probably need to address just for the sake of doing so, for us to be able to go into some of the other information that we're talking about. So take a listen to this real quick. Russia says that it's ready to discuss a prisoner swap with the U.S. after sentencing basketball star Brittany Griner. Mark Mayfield informs.
On Thursday, Griner was sentenced to 9 years in a Russian prison for having a small amount of cannabis oil in her luggage at a Moscow airport. Today, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said Vladimir Putin and Joe Biden had previously agreed on a diplomatic channel to discuss a prisoner swap, and that they are ready to discuss it within the framework of that channel. Russia has criticized the U.S. for publicly announcing a possible trade deal for Griner and said public diplomacy could derail those efforts. I'm Mark Mayfield.
I'm glad that I keep on saying Grenier because, I'm adding an extra E in there. So anyways, with that being said, let's do something that we normally don't do on a Friday. And what is that called? What is that called that we normally don't do on Friday? Let's do the main story.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so you know that a lot of this conversation with Griner is related to the world of cannabis. And so with this being said, I have a close friend of mine who has sent this over and said, hey, we probably need to talk about this. And I wanted to talk about it yesterday, but I wanted to see really where the sentencing was going to go first before we went into this. So let's talk just for a moment about this. The NY Fire Department, the New York Fire Department, and the New York Police Department update policies on drug testing based on legalization. So take a listen to this. In a recent memo released by Uniformed Firefighter Association that leaked information about drug testing in the state of New York, new legislation in the state of New York has prompted state institutions to follow suit with their policy and practice. So anti-prohibitionists and activists for the regulated marijuana market, this comes yet at another welcome step forward. Now, in the same way, police officers and firefighters might kick their feet up and enjoy a cold beer on their day off, they may also choose to have the same with a joint or an edible. So get the memo. According to the UFA, which, just in case, that is the United Firefighters Association, and the NYPD has deemed it unlawful to request that officers be preemptively or randomly tested for THC. The attitude comes as the legislation in the state shifts its focus on legalized market. According to Marijuana Moment, the UFA said that it believes that its directive is the product of the union that inquires to the city about drug testing policies in light of the New York's marijuana legalization law. After the information was leaked, the NYPD released another statement where it emphasizes that no changes have been implemented at this time, and that it will be liaisoning with the city to order to make the department stays a little more compliant. So, a response to new legislation. Let's talk about this. Regardless of how the new reform plays out, NYPD and NYFD made it abundantly clear that they would continue to test employees whom they suspect are under the influence of drugs or alcohol. These changes come year after the NYPD released instructions to officers informing them that now that cannabis is legal for adult use, officers cannot arrest adults 21 and older just for consuming marijuana in a setting where smoking tobacco is permitted. Separately, the State Department of Labor said last year that it advised that a few exceptions. New York companies are no longer permitted to drug test employees for marijuana, even before legalization. New York City officials imposed a municipal prohibition of cannabis in pre-employment drug testing. So, with that being said, do you look at this as a common sense approach? For spearheads of the moment, the action of the NYPD and NYFD are obvious choice. Of course, as times continue to change within state legalization, it's paramount that powerful institutions follow suit and act in accordance to the law. Fundamentally, enforcing strict regimes around marijuana use where employees in a state where consumption of a plant is legal contradicts the rights of workers involved. As previously mentioned, the reform would not condone professionals who are under the influence while on the job, but would insist not reprimanded for them for the way that they choose to live their life when they're not on the clock. What else? What else do we say? So still there's some controversy if you really think about this whole thing, because that's going to be the easier way to talk about it. There has been a considerable policy dispute in the regulation of cannabis regulation, especially in neighboring New Jersey following the vote of legalization. In May, New Jersey lawmakers filed a series of reform aimed to allowing companies to penalize employees who use marijuana off-duty in accordance with their state law, especially police enforcement and first responders. The bill was introduced after the state attorney general's office issued a paper outlining a few New Jersey adult use of cannabis statute that now enables police officers to consume marijuana while they're are not on the job. Retail cannabis business in New York have yet to open since officials are still trying to establish laws to begin approving licenses. Adults 21 and older can possess, openly use marijuana as well as gift to other adults as long as they are not given money for the product as in a form of compensation. I will tell you this, it's kind of an interesting one as we are talking about this. I already got knocked out of some of the some of the social media platforms that I'm on because, you're not supposed to talk about this stuff. But here's the gig as we are talking about, the weedy here. What do you think about this? So as safety professionals, we're constantly talking about how things are evolving and changing and so on. What do you think if New York, some of the stuff that New York is doing ends up moving into other stuff? How is this going to play into what we are doing? Seriously. So this is an article that was sent to me from beardbrosfarms.com. And it has all kinds of info in there. It kind of makes you start to think about what is some of these changes that we'll see in some of these laws and how this will all play a factor into what is going on inside of the world. Just think about it from that particular fashion. How does your organization currently handle drug and alcohol testing? And if you do pre-employment testing, are you testing for marijuana? It's stuff to think about today, that is for sure. It is currently 38 minutes back past the top of the hour. We're going to be back right after this.
He's the man. It's awesome, funny, random, doesn't make any sense, but it's good.
Jay Allen in the morning on Radio Big.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
These days, it can be hard to find and hire the right candidates for your small business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs made it easier to find the people that you want to talk to faster and for free. I have to tell you, even before they ever became a sponsor here on Safety FM, we have used LinkedIn Jobs to help find the people that we have here on Safety FM. It's an easy service to use. Create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. Focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience and use screening questions to get your role in front of only the most qualified candidates. Then use the simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know that every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/safetyfm. That's linkedin.com/safetyfm to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
While other wireless companies raise their prices, Mint Mobile is taking a different approach. You can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Let's say that again so you hear it right. $15 a month for unlimited premium wireless. Why?
We continue our commitment to help you get a better credit card. On the website, bettercreditcards.com, we have different kinds of credit cards. Some with better points and perks, some designed to help you build your credit. Whatever stage of life you happen to be in, we want to help. Give yourself a little credit. Bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
Listen at your own risk.
Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, listen to this. This is Wedding Dress by Zorro. So do you want to laugh and chuckle real quick? I am being told by multiple people, multiple, that if you are not on the radio, you are not hanging and banging, listening to what the hell is going on, because it looks like the streamers has pulled us down. The streamers have pulled us down for what the subject matter that we were talking about. Unless you're on our own streamer, which I've told you about before, on Visual Radio. If you go to the Visual Radio section on safetyfm.com. Anyway, sorry for this, but Wedding Dress is readily available for download. Well, or for streaming on Spotify and iTunes. So there you go. So there you go. Some interesting stuff. Anyway, so we have tried to do some stuff on our end to make sure that we can be back on the streaming stuff. If you want to take a look at the video, don't know what to tell you, my friends. Just kind of the way that it goes, the world that we live in, on how we get kicked out of certain things because of the stuff that I talk about. This is not the first time that I've brought up some controversial subject that I got kicked out. I'm not joking as I say this. Anyways, that's not important. Let's continue talking. So here's the gig before I get too far. This will be readily available on our streaming platform, Safety FM Plus, if you want to take a listen to it. Also, the other side of the equation here that we will talk about is that this will be readily available as well on the podcast version, because we do a record of this show as we are doing the stuff. So don't worry, we will take care of you. You will hear the story if you want to hear it, but it's just amazing to me that I got kicked off across the board but stayed on the radio side and stayed on our visual radio as well. It's funny on how the stuff that I'm able to talk about, or not talk about, the stuff that I have some level of control of was okay. Interesting times as we are hanging and banging. Anyways, as we are talking this morning, let me tell you about my friends at the 9888 Lifeline. They are a place that can help you prevent suicide. The Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress, prevention crisis resources for you and loved ones. They're also known as one of the best places for professionals in the United States in regards of getting, the best practices. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to 9888lifeline.org. That's 9888lifeline.org. Or you can text the word TALK to 9888 or call 988. Listen, very important information always going on there. So make sure if you are in time of need to reach out. There you go. Anyways, always some fun times as you and I get to hang. A lot of stuff still going on. I feel like I owe you a lot of stuff in very limited time to do so. I will tell you, I am slightly disappointed, if I'm being 100% here, of getting kicked off for talking about things that are going on in the world. Seriously, it's like, it's a little muchy if we think about it. But hey, stranger things have happened at worser times, if one can say it in that fashion. So think about that as we are talking. Anyways, Ron DeSantis on Thursday suspended a state attorney who publicly pledged to enforce Florida's 15-week abortion ban. In a press conference, the decision, DeSantis accused Hillsborough County State Attorney Andrew Warren of picking and choosing the laws that he had enforced. Warren previously said that publicly that he wouldn't enforce the laws banning sex change procedures for minors either. So there you go. Do you think DeSantis will run for U.S. Attorney General in 2024? I mean, I'm just asking. Some stuff to think about real quick. Anyways, this one is kind of circulating, so I guess because I did bring up something related to politics, maybe I should talk about this real quick. Dick Cheney is calling Donald Trump a threat to our republic in a new campaign ad for his daughter, Liz Cheney. Take a listen to what Mark Mayfield has to say.
In the new 1-minute ad for the Republican Congresswoman, the former vice president says Trump tried to steal the last election using lies and violence to keep himself in power after the voters had rejected him. He added, "There has never been an individual who is a greater threat to our republic." Liz Cheney is vice chair of the House panel investigating the Capitol riot. She's up for re-election in Wyoming on August 16th and is trailing in the polls behind the Trump-backed challenger, Harriet Hageman. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Okay, thank you, Mark Mayfield, for letting us know what is going on there. Always some interesting stuff as we are hanging and talking, moving, grooving, and all that fun stuff. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things. I think I'm going to bring in John Smalls right now, and let's do the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Mickey. Brian Tracy said, "The key to success is to develop a winning edge." I love that. But what is a winning edge? I've watched people try to copy someone else who is successful. That rarely works. You look like a second-rate copy of them. Don't do that. Be a first-rate version of you. Nobody else on the planet is qualified to be that. So you be who God intended for you to be. Find a way to make a difference that fits within who you are. Then practice that until you're the best at that one thing. That can be your winning edge. You have an advantage over everyone else because nobody else is nearly as good at being you. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlessaMorgan.com. When you are consuming an unhealthy meal with processed foods, how long does it affect you after you finished eating? There was a study published in the Journal of Major Metabolism that monitored over 1,000 participants after they consumed standardized meals with healthy foods followed by the meals where they ate whatever they wanted, mostly foods high in processed carbs and fats. What the study discovered was that whenever the participants had a glucose drop after an unhealthy meal, it affected how much they ate for the next 24 hours. Specifically, the participants experienced increase in appetite and consumed more calories. This study adds to the body of evidence of how much one meal can affect us and impact our decisions for extended periods of time. For more information, check out alessamorgan.com.
Hello, I'm Richard Exley with your 1-minute devotion. I'm thinking of a childless couple who had been prayed for scores of times. Nothing happened. Yet when I prayed for them, she conceived. She didn't appear to have much faith, a desperate hope maybe, but not much faith. My faith certainly wasn't anything to write home about, but still God intervened and gave them a son. Faith, as Wynne Collier says, is a call to hope. It enables us to believe again. With that in mind, I'm going to continue to pray for miracles, but I'm going to put my hope only in Jesus. 1 Peter 2 says, those who trust in Jesus will never be put to shame. Lord, we trust you. Help us to trust you more. In your holy name we pray. Amen. If these devotions are a blessing and an encouragement to you, you can subscribe at oneminutedevotion.com.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
There you go. A lot of fun stuff going on inside of this world as we are hanging out doing all the fun stuff that you and I get to do. Oh, sorry, I'm not supposed to do that. I almost started talking about how I'm going to get to Sesame Street. Anyways, we're looking at some albums coming out today. Let's do those real quick. The new Calvin Harris, it will be out today. Funk Wave Bounces Volume 2. Girls' Generation, Forever 1. Eminem Curtain Call 2. Jennifer Vanilla, Castle in the Sky. Mal Grab, What I Breathe. Neil Young, plus Promise of the Real. Noise of Flowers. The Flatliners and New Ruin. So there you go. If you're interested in taking a look-see at some new stuff that's coming out, there you go. Some stuff to think about. So there you go. What else? It is currently 53 minutes past the top of the hour as we are talking and moving and grooving and doing all the fun stuff that we get to do. Let's talk about Illinois. Yes, the state tax holiday on school supplies begins today. The governor says the next 10 day in Illinois state tax will drop from 6.25% to 1.25%.
Whether it's book bags or calculators, writing tablets, notebooks or binders, folders, clothing and footwear, if our students need it for school, it's covered by this tax cut.
Okay, so let's see. The governor says the tax break includes teachers who plan to buy supplies for their classroom. The tax holiday runs through August the 14th. So there you go. Anyways, what else? I think I need to give you this one because, this is some big stuff to talk about with everything else going on inside of the world. So here's some weather update for today.
Today, a front will push across the northern plains, and that may produce severe thunderstorms for northern and central Minnesota and back into parts of South Dakota. It will be in the 80s and 90s in Big Sky Country today, with cooler air set to move into Montana and Wyoming as we approach and move into and through the weekend. From the Great Basin to the High Plains, watch for heavy rain with a risk of flash flooding, heavy downpours, eastern California and much of Nevada today, stretching to Wyoming and Utah. Continued hot in the northeast and much of the east in general, with some areas of heavy rain and flash flooding for the lower Ohio River Valley across into the central Appalachians. Showers in 85 for both Lexington and Louisville, Kentucky today. Scattered thunderstorms possible for many cities in the east, including Miami, Macon, New York, Norfolk, Virginia, and back through sections of Pennsylvania and West Virginia. That's your national weather forecast. Mike Ellis, NBC News Radio.
Okay, thank you, Mike Ellis, for that one, letting us know what is going on right there. Take a listen to this real quick. A man accused of performing cosmetic procedures on clients in Orange County without a license. This woman says that she was one of the clients that he messed up her face.
I had to go to another doctor because I had a weird smile. I still do. And I was told that it was done improperly.
61-year-old Elias Segoviano ran a business out of a rented salon in Anaheim simply called Botox. The man, who has pleaded not guilty to several felony charges, alleged that even drove around with a personalized license plate that read Elias MD. Prosecutors also believe that Severgano may also have injected his clients with counterfeit products. He had a large social media following and spoke with audience only in Spanish, advertising fillers for lips and threading for facelifts and Botox. So there you go. Be on the looky for that. Anyways, funeral home license suspended after decomposing bodies were found. A funeral home in Indiana is being shut down after dozens of decomposing bodies are found. Trey Thomas has more info.
Police found 31 bodies in various stages of decomposition, unrefrigerated, and in body bags at Lanford Funeral Home and Family Center last month. Now, Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita has suspended the license for the Jeffersonville Funeral Home. An investigation is ongoing. I'm Trey Thomas.
Okay, so there you go. Some news of the weird for sure as things are going on inside of this world. Anyway, so we are, 57 minutes into this thing. So let's get you the hell out of here. Let's look at some things that happened back on this date. Back in 2006, Warren Moon becomes the first black quarterback to be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He was joined by Troy Aikman, John Madden, Harry Carson, and Reggie White. That happened all back in 2006. If you're looking at some birthdays for today, let's jump around. Olivia Holt, 25, Lolo Jones, 40, James Gunn, 56, and Joe Collins turned 77. If you're looking at some days of the years to celebrate, I have some of those. National Underwear Day. I guess no commandoing it today. And National Oyster Day. So there you go, a combination of some things right there. Let's see. If you need a random joke, insomnia is awful, but one plus side, only 27 more sleeps till Christmas. Let's see. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. What's the one thing you must miss most about being a kid? Not having to pay for anything. Okay, no, wrong thing. And then let's see what else. Question for the water cooler. Try this. 1 in 5 of us prefer to do this chore at home while the rest of us do it elsewhere. What is it? Wash the car. So there you go, at the car wash. Anyways, that's going to sum up our 600 episode today. Didn't know it was going to start with controversy. That's always a fun stuff. So thanks for hanging out for the last 600. Hopefully we can do 600 more and see exactly what will happen and go from there. Anyways, thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener. If I can leave you with a deep thought for this weekend, here's what I got. The only thing that will make you happy is being happy with who you are. Think about that. I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.